I know some of you know my wife, and she's like, you know, that sweet lady. Hey, you don't know. You know, she's German. You know, they have a temper. But she's the sweetest. But you don't want to be on the other side. So I took it and I said, I'm going to gamble this. I told her after I paid for it. You know, and so she's like, well, you better pass, you better be studying. And then if I was having, la vida loca, she will always come, hey, are you studying? Oh yeah, yes ma'am, I am studying. So it worked. And so it put a lot of pressure on me because I wanted to, but you have different options. And so AFCOOL is one of the options to do that. For the enlisted, you get paid your functional certification, and you also have a leadership certification. And if you go to that website, again, I just did a screenshot. What you see there's a screenshot of the website. You can go in there, click on certifications, and there are all kinds of certifications in there. So the Air Force will pay for it. For officers and civilians, I am not sure. It just actually says, that's what the website said. I just kind of cut and paste. The Air Force will pay for the exam, prep course, books, study materials, admin fees, certification, fees necessary for one. The only thing they're not going to pay for is gas for you to go to the place and get taken care of. So that is a good thing. But what I'll do is I will ask the office, the educational office, to see. And like we were just talking about, maybe this could be something that your work area may want to pay because you're utilizing these skills, especially at the senior levels in here. You're using these all the time. Okay. So let's see. Now, and thanks for bringing that to my attention. Sometimes you'd be surprised that some of these academic advisors in our bases are not very familiar with this. And I know the chief was talking to me about it. He was telling me, hey, the person told me we don't pay for that. We do. We had several people that the Air Force had paid for. I'll give you an example. We have one of our chiefs in here who's getting ready to do this. And basically, and I was going to do the same thing too. So he went into AFCOOL, got everything. He had to sign in there saying, okay, I have to be counseled. So that's the requirement. You go through it, you say, this is what I want to do. You go to the counselor sees your plan, this is what you plan to do, and then the person says, okay, you've been counseled, and now you let them know what is, for example, if you want to pay for the, want to go to one of these PMP courses, then they'll pay that company, and then you have to do is just show up for that, and they'll also pay the test fee. Okay, but my talk here is not only this, but just go in there and check other certifications that are possible. You'll be surprised. Some of the, some great certifications. I saw one in there that I was thinking, that I do this all the time, and it had to do with agile change management. And I was thinking, wow, that would be a good one for us. I mean, we do that. But then, so they have a foundational, and they had a professional or master. And then I was thinking, we do this. Obviously, got a test. But then, for example, the master, you have to go in front of a board, and then you get interviewed. They'll send you the appointment after they have gone through all your resume and everything for the board appointment. And you sit down there and have these industry, people, and they'll interview you, and then they'll say, yeah, you got it or not. So so there's some really good ones. The reason I mentioned that is because some of these ones are pretty hard. And that's, I think, what you want. I mean, for all of us, we work hard. That's easy. If it would be, and that's what you want. If it's easy, you probably don't want it. A bunch of people with it. But this, it's a lot of work, and you'll learn a lot. So next slide.
Hey, Chief?
Yes.
Real quick, when I went into Air Force School, again, at my last base, I sat down with the council. They said You can take a certification from your AFSC, and there's a tab that says which one Air Force Pool supports or not, and there's a bunch of other ones listed as well. Then the management and leadership, because you're a senior NCO, you're allowed to take a secondary certificate. Well, when you query for leadership and management, a lot of them line up as identical to your AFSC.
Mm-hmm.
So I would, when you query individually, if that's your goal or agenda, look at it from that perspective as well.
Yes, absolutely. That's I did the same, and I found the same thing, and I ended up just going through each one of them. Because sometimes what happens is they tell you this is something else that you're doing in your functional area might be listed somewhere else, and they figure it's a better fit over there. And so in that case, you have to let them know, well, I do this and I want you to pay for this. Right. You know, because they're gonna probably at the beginning say, well, it's not listed on your AFSC, so that's why we don't want to pay. Well, there's always ways around that. Okay. So anyways, go through it, just like the chief was talking about, just play with the queries so you can see what they have. Next slide. Okay, so here it is. Studying for the test. What you see on the, if you're looking at a slide, to the left is the book that I've been referring to for those on the line. And you have to know it. I'll put it this way. If you are not studying, you are not going to pass. You're not going to pass. They've done, this is a hard test. So I'll tell you a little bit of my journey. And so I said, you know, somebody talked to me about that. I looked at the criteria. I said, you know what, I do these things. I think this is something that the body of knowledge is something I need help with in here. So I want to learn more about it. I went through it and started studying like in November. And then, you know, on and off. In January I said, you know, I'm on it. So in January I was studying hard until about February. And then in February I went to a boot camp, right? One of those training courses. And they started talking, and you know what? Some of these people were talking, there was just a lot of industry guys. It was me and 4 others. And these guys were industry, I mean, they very experienced. They were talking about, I mean, I was lost. So at night, obviously you have homework. In some of these cases, some of these courses are 4 days. And you have stuff at night so you can't catch up. And but anyways, I did the best that I could. And then after that, you know what, they tell you, don't take the test. You have to wait, the window, the hot window, what I call it, where you're pretty hot is between 30 days after the course to about, 2 weeks after. No more than that. Once you start going beyond that, you start losing you start getting cool, start losing your hotness. But anyway, so I did that, and I found that I was not ready. I hit the books again, and I kept on, and I had myself a goal. By the end of March, I was going to do this, by the end of March. So I did what we do, for some of you who have done WAPS testing, and that was the best advice somebody gave me. I had a good friend. He took the test, he failed. And there was just like 5 of them went out there. Out of the 5, 3 passed, 2 did not. It's a high failure rate. I think the failure rate on this certification is 69%, which is good for you because you work hard. So if you give the time, you're gonna pass. So, but what happened? I'm getting ready. I sent a message, hey man, I'm going to do this. Any words of wisdom before I enter the oracle? And so hey, remember how you studied WAPS testing? Take this as you're going to WAPS test. So for some of you who do not know what our airmen do, and most of you probably know, but I will bore you with it. So what do we do when we WAPS test? We eat the book. I mean, we take the book, we cut it in little chapters, and we study, we take it with us. I mean, we sleep on it, you know, it's hopefully something, you know, some process of osmosis. We write, you know, different, you know, cards. We do everything because there's this connection between the brain and the, you know, and you're moving the hand. I mean, we, even if it sounds kind of crazy, we do it, you know, because we're gonna pass, you know, and we're going to score really high. So that's exactly what I did. I highlighted that book, carry with me everywhere, chapter by chapter. I did, and I have my cards in here. I know some of you in the line can't see it, but those in here. I have process flow charts in here. You know, inputs, techniques, and outputs. I mean, validated names. I mean, and I divided all of those things. And I also looked at some of those videos that were out there. You know, and that's what you see right there in the middle. If you go YouTube, and, you know, let's say that, for example, you're having problems with critical path method. Some of you know what this is, some of you not, but if you have problems with that, and how to calculate days, and, you know, what is the critical path to task, you know, I have some amazing videos in there. And so there's a lady in there, it's called, I don't own stock or nothing, just telling you that it was, she explains in such a good way, Eileen Ellis. And so anyways, she has these videos, and she explains it like people, you know, for people like me. I mean, when she, oh, get it! You know, I've been reading the book and everything, so you use all those things that are out there to help you. And then, you know, do your own. You're gonna have people that are going to probably sell you some of these things done. Don't buy it. It's just a waste of money. Do your own thing, write it down. Like in here, I have, these are just some of my cards. I have, you know, 3x5 cards all over the house. You know, the wife quizzed me and everything. So that's one way. So let's talk a little bit more about this. So first, study it. There's 284 combinations of different processes that you have to understand when you read this. Look at the tables. Look at the pictures. They have some figures in here for each one of the areas. I suggest that you know, like every time a chapter begins, you have a table that has pictures, and it explains how each of the processes combine. So you can see the relationship between the processes, the inputs and the outputs, and the tools and techniques. And just either make a picture of it, you know, and cut it, put it somewhere else, so at least you get to see how everything, you know, is put together. That's one way. So once you have that done, then look at the, you know, go through it. As you go through each one of the sections, go and see if there's a video about it. And do your cards. I bought this book. It's called The PMP Exam. It's another thick book by Andy Crow, PMP. The reason I say this is it has questions on the back of it. If any of you who are in the room can see, it still looks like new. You can pass it around. Why is this still like new? Because I did not use it. You know, I thought this thing was going to help me, but it did not help. I mean, it has some questions on the back, which is pretty good, and you're going to see a lot of those. I did buy this book from this lady, and I actually downloaded it on my app, on the Kindle app. And the way she, obviously she had a chapter, she would tell you, go to the PM book, the body of knowledge. Read chapters here to here. And so I read those chapters, and then I'll go to her book, and then she had the questions, and I would answer those questions, and then she would explain why, you know, the answers. That helped. So that's better than, you know, and the book was not that expensive than trying to buy another book. You'll have enough with the PM body of knowledge. That's a lot. Okay. So once you have that done, you feel comfortable that you have a very good grasp about how all of those things go, then go to the your PMI chapter. And the reason I say if you go to your local PMI chapter, those guys are normally vetted. So you're not going to go with somebody out there that, hey, we just need your credit card and sorry, man. Yeah, give me your credit card and we'll take care of you. Really? Hey, what am I calling? Oh, don't worry about it. Just what was the back numbers? I did not give you back numbers. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm anxious. So if you go through that PMI local chapter, they have some of those people. Some of the they have classes where you can go over there and go through them for free. And some of them they have those boot camps, and they have like two industries that you can go in, or two or three companies where you can go through it and figure out what you can and cannot do. Yes, question?
Just thinking, the guys on the board said that there's an Alamo chapter here that does weekend courses on PMI certification.
Yes.
So what was the name of that book again? You said you downloaded it on your people that help you?
I will let you know. It's that the author was Eileen Ellis, and she was very easy to understand. But I'll send you the name. Yes, sir.
Are there courses at like night school, at community colleges, or universities?
Absolutely.
Did you ever look at that and they're available in the area?
Yes, sir.
Who's doing them?
Yes, sir. So I did University of Texas in here. They have some of those project management courses that prepare you. I mean, they give you credit for university, but they also prepare you for the exam. That was one of the one. And there was another college here that they did that. And then if you go to Google, there's also the several academies, project management academies that will prepare you for it. And if you're looking at price, what's a good price? Anywhere you go is about $1,500 for one of these courses. That's pretty much what it is. And so that's why when you look around, you got to be careful that you're getting what you want. Do your research, check their reviews. And when you look at reviews, sometimes people expect that you go through one of those courses and now you're going to go take the test and you're going to pass because you did it, and it's just not going to work. So you have to do your work. But that's one way. And now let me tell you my experience. I went through the PMI chapter. I signed up for some of these chapters, because I wanted to have a human professor in front of me, to talk to me through all of these. And then they canceled the class. We're gonna reschedule it. They said, okay, so I can only do it this time, because then I'm gonna be TY and I'm gonna be doing all these other things. And the guy said, oh yeah. They canceled it again. They said, hey man, we have to do it online because this is the only way. We didn't have enough. Did you know that from the beginning, they wanted to do it online, but they had this catch in here. So you gotta, again, watch, with that. But I have to say, I was very skeptic and suspicious about doing this online. And I tell you, I did it online. I mean, obviously, I did it at home those 4 days. And the professor was amazing. As a matter of fact, we have problems in here with technology. And I saw what these guys are doing with their technology suits for, learning and everything. I was like, wow, why are we not doing this, for example. So after I was done, I came back over here, hey, are we doing this, and then, my dream met reality. But I tell you, I learned a lot through them, and the good thing with these boot camps is that I had access to a bank of questions So I had to, they basically don't want you to go take the test until you score on their exams 85 or above. So if I was scoring 87, they were okay. They'll say, hey, if you're scoring 87, we'll guarantee you will pass, and if you don't pass, we'll give you your money back. And I said, okay. And then also they have that I have to take so many, and I tell you, I went through all of their banks, and they also have the math banks. So they have a lot of questions on the math because you have to calculate many different things, value, earned value, and depreciation, you name it, all of those things. And some of these scenarios are very tricky. So their math banks were great, great opportunity for me to go through it, and I'm familiar with that. When I did my Lean Six Sigma, I had to do a lot of statistical analysis to calculate 6 Sigma or to 3 Sigma or 4 Sigma, and they had a scenario like that. And I tell you, in both cases, it always helped. So that's the advantage of having, a professional going to a professional looking like that, because the technology is great. Questions? Yes.
Potential comment, and then I just want to add for the certification courses that you're talking about, I have randomly at times seen on like Groupon, depending on how risky you're willing to do, on Groupon and on Living Social, they'll offer some of these PMP certification boot camps that tend to come with these guarantees. And so they may be at mitigated costs as well. So those of you who pay attention to that kind of thing, if you're interested in using that as an alternative or a means of getting that certification, you can use them as well. I saw it a lot in Colorado Springs. I can't say I've seen it here, but I also unsubscribed to my Groupons, but I remember it coming up free. So it's another avenue of study.
Absolutely.
Groupon.
Groupon. Yeah.
Technically so.
Yeah. Together, everyone accomplishes more.
Get some here, so get some of that on.
It's like a bomb fuse or something.
So let me pause in here. Anybody from the line? Any questions on the line?
Those are the ones I'm sure the chief.
Okay.
Could you summarize that one more time and pull it together for me in the next 2 minutes?
Yeah. Well, there's somebody. There's always somebody. Sure. Get with me.
Okay, got it. Appreciate it.
No, I know. Are you talking specifically about? I know you're made a very general statement in there, but is there any specific? Dave?
No, I'm good. Like I said, I'll follow up with you afterwards or do a little more research as well to find out. And then there's other folks that are up here listening on the phone as well.
Okay.
Who actually references a couple additional books that are getting looking at getting certified later this year as well.
Okay, yeah. So we'll send some suggestions on the books. The book that I was passing up in here. That's a book I did not use. Has questions on the back. It was just a lot of talk. I think the best book that you could get for this is one that has no text. And what I mean is it only has questions. And that's probably the best book, because the more you're familiar with the PM Body of Knowledge book, right? The more you're familiar with that, the better. And then you go to another book to answer questions, like a workbook. That's great. But doing anything different, I don't think it's a good idea. And I'll tell you why. We're going to talk about the test in a little bit. But one of the things that the test goes through is they have scenarios and things happen, and you are now trying to figure out if there was a step in the risk analysis process that was missed. You have to understand what process group you're in when these things are happening. And so if you're constantly going somewhere else, then you cannot really in your mind picture exactly where you at, and you lose situational awareness. Does that help?
Okay. Oh, good.
Okay. So sounds good. I took your question and I said, hey, can you summarize everything that you have said in a few minutes?
That was perfect. Thank you. Can I get my last hour back?
Yeah. Perfect. No. We'll give you more work.
Hey, Chief,
Welcome to the club. Thought I needed it. No, I appreciate it. I gotta roll out of here, but I just want to say thanks for putting that together.
Yeah, no problem. iMentor, big thanks to them.
Hey Chief, I was just wondering, are there courses out there that are tailored towards specific industries? You know, because I know the PMP is very broad-based in the way it instructs, or at least that's my understanding. And so I'm just wondering if there's, you know, if there's courses that are geared towards specific industries, whether it's manufacturing or construction or, you know, I don't know, financial stuff or computer programming, you know, or is everything that you've seen out there just very, very broad brush?
Do you mean courses that lead to PMP certification that are tailored to manufacturing or?
Yeah, that are kind of industry specific, so that they're at least specific enough to be useful for what I do every day for a living.
So for PMP specific, not at the beginning. So for the PMP, to pass your PMP, this is what you get. But what I can say is you can go through a through a provider that may have a focus on a particular industry. We have seen that, but they have to teach you what it's in here. Now, when they're using examples, they're using examples from their industry, and now that you know is probably good for you because you're like, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
So you can see some of those, but most of those are online.
Okay.
You know, there's some in the health industry here in San Antonio.
Right.
But because especially the health industry uses a lot of this, and facilities also, and then for Lean and Six Sigma also, and manufacturing. Yes.
Chief, I know we're focusing on the PMP Plus certification, but recently I think I've seen this, and thank you, this is very timely for me personally. But I've also known there's other certifications, the Program Manager Plus, the Portfolio Manager Plus. Do you know anybody who's pursued those, and maybe how completely they differ? Are they like levels where you advance?
So portfolio manager, no, but program management professional, yes. You know, so and so it's same process. And obviously, the body of knowledge is different, so they just have to apply.
So then there is like a program management body of
Yeah,
knowledge?
there is no progression. You know, like a PMP is better than a program. It depends on what you're doing. And if you want to focus on program management, sometimes it's just an issue of the work. Then maybe the work has some specific requirements. That's what happens too. Sometimes people are tailoring themselves to a particular industry, and so what they do is they say, okay, well, this job description, this job, whatever, are asking for program managers. So I do that. So I got a certification on that. A lot of people go, that I've seen in the industry, they go program manager, or they do PMP then program manager, because those two are very related. Most of us do both, and so it just sharpens your edge.
Is the program manager more like a higher level executive thing, or are they both kind of on the same level but different, or?
So it depends on the organization. The organization structure. A lot of organization structures, the program managers, as you know, they're matrix to the organization. For example, if you're talking about like a senior program manager, basically that person will be a PMP with several years of experience supervising project managers. So that's what you will see. Yeah. Okay, next slide. So this one, this slide in here, it's our last slide, and basically I wanted to talk in here about, so you have all of those things covered. You tested, or you had your application done. You went and you're ready to take the test. Now you go to this website here. It's and that letter, you'll get a letter from PMI that tells you schedule your appointment through Prometric. And so you go to Prometric and you schedule your appointment, and they'll tell you when they'll see you. Now this is kind of like what we do here when we go to test. You know, you have to be there at a particular time. You have to be early because they have a whole process that they do. So you go over here, you get your appointment, arrive early on that. Make sure that the day before you know exactly what this pro metric is. I came here and I took mine here in San Antonio. And I mean, I left 1 hour early and I could not find a place. And I mean, getting to get a little nervous. I was thinking, I felt like Senior Airman LugoSantiago getting flashbacks again. You know, like, oh my God, you know, my first sergeant is going to kill me. You know, and, you know, where is it? You know, calling, you know, knocking on doors. Hey, where is this thing at?